Is Elon Musk already looking to bail out of his Twitter deal? Is Elon Musk's $44 billion acquisition of Twitter about to suffer from one of the worst cases of buyer's remorse in history? That's what some Musk observers are wondering, based on recent price movements in Twitter and Tesla, the electric car maker on which Musk's fortune is built, as well as Musk's behavior in the aftermath of his acquisition of the social media platform. Reuters laid out the economic argument against Musk following through on his acquisition in an article titled, "Elon Musk Probably Won't Buy Twitter." According to the commentary piece, Musk has financial reasons to let the deal fall through. Then there's the behavioral argument, which is based on Musk's actions since the deal was revealed. Within hours of the formal purchase agreement's public release on Tuesday, he appears to have begun violating its terms. Musk is permitted to tweet about the deal so long as such tweets do not disparage the company or any of its representatives. Musk has arguably disparaged the company and two of its executives in at least 3 tweets since then, though the tweets did not directly reference the deal. The agreement is silent on what Twitter can do if Musk violates that clause. But it's not impossible that he's giving the Twitter board an excuse to fire him. The transaction, which is structured as a merger between Twitter and a new company entirely owned by Musk, would take several months to complete. If the deal fails, either Twitter or Musk will be liable for $1 billion in damages, depending on which side takes the blame. So it's worth looking at Musk's cost-benefit analysis if he decides to leave. Let us begin by noting that Musk has not yet purchased Twitter. He has secured financial backing to purchase the Twitter shares he does not already own, approximately 91% of them at $54.20 each. Musk would contribute roughly half of the required $44 billion, including $21.5 billion in margin loans against his Tesla stock. Musk is widely regarded as the world's richest man with a net worth of approximately $240 billion, but that doesn't mean he has unlimited access to it. The majority of it is tied to his 21% stake in Tesla, but some of those shares have already been borrowed against, and the company has imposed limits on how much more he can borrow against them. He is also known to make proposals with little intention of following through on them. His famous 2018 tweet announcing a plan to take Tesla private and claiming that funding was guaranteed is a good example. Funding was not guaranteed, and the proposal appeared to be a vapor. Musk and Tesla each paid $20 million to settle a government lawsuit over the tweet. In this case, funding appears to be assured, and Musk's intentions appear to be far more advanced. But that doesn't mean he can't back out of the deal at any time before it closes. If Musk is unable to obtain the necessary loans, he may be forced to sell some of his Tesla stock, which has fallen in value by approximately 24%, since Musk first disclosed a 9.2% stake in Twitter on April 4. Tesla shares fell nearly 13% to $873.28 on Tuesday, the day after the sale agreement was reached. They later recovered somewhat. Tesla closed down $4, or 0.45%, at $877.51, while TOUTR closed up 47 cents, or about 1%, at $49.11. Tesla reached a high of around $1,230 in November of last year. The recent action appears to reflect genuine Tesla shareholder concerns about Musk's Twitter venture. They could be bored for a variety of reasons. One is the extent to which he is financing the transaction with Tesla stock. As a result, Musk is vulnerable to margin calls from his bank lenders, forcing him to sell shares if the stock continues to fall. Musk as a seller is not a good look for Tesla, because much of its value derives from Musk's identification with the company. The price at which Musk might have to start selling to shore up the bank's collateral is unknown. Bloomberg estimates it to be around $740. Another day like Tuesday, when Tesla fell by $121.60, would bring Musk dangerously close to that level. Another issue for shareholders is that Musk's new distraction is the last thing they need, given their CEO notoriously short attention span. This is especially true now, as Tesla faces increased competition in the electric vehicle market from rivals at all price points, ranging from Ford and General Motors to BMW and other luxury brands. Tesla can no longer claim ownership of the EV market, particularly the luxury EV market. Then there's the potential conflict that Twitter could cause between Musk and the Chinese government. Thought to some extent, Beijing controls Tesla's future, and it dislikes Twitter. The platform is already banned in China, and anything that happens on Twitter outside of Beijing's control, but within what Beijing believes is Musk's control, could result in retaliatory measures against the carmaker. Shareholders may be concerned that the day of reckoning for Tesla's stock has arrived. Even though its vehicle output, 930,000 in 2021 and 305,400 in the first quarter of this year, amounts to just over 1% of global market share, the company's market value of around $900 billion at the current stock price is roughly equivalent to that of the next 10 most valuable car companies combined. In other words, Tesla has been grossly overvalued by any traditional stock market metric for years. Companies can remain in that condition indefinitely, but gravity is a cruel mistress to high flyers, and the trigger for a drastic revaluation can come from anywhere. Just as Tesla shareholders have expressed concern about the deal, Twitter shareholders have expressed skepticism. Since the announcement, Twitter stock has not converged decisively toward the $54.20 sale price, remaining below $50 for much of the week. That's a significant difference from the offer price for a deal that doesn't face any significant opposition from antitrust regulators or any visible obstacles other than Musk's preferences and the stability of the financing. Musk has been open about some of his plans for Twitter once he takes over. He describes himself as a free speech absolutist and says he would strengthen Twitter's role as a platform for free speech. However, he may not have a clear understanding of how that principle is defined. By free speech, I simply mean that which conforms to the law. He tweeted on Tuesday, for example, "I am opposed to censorship that goes beyond the law. People who want less free speech will petition the government to pass legislation to that effect. Going beyond the law is thus against the will of the people. But things aren't quite that simple. Much of the content that has turned Twitter into a toxic cesspool of hate speech, violence mongering, and disinformation is not illegal in the United States, but it is noxious enough to undermine the platform's utility to millions of potential users. Twitter has suspended or permanently banned users who violate its established civility standards, even if their speech is not illegal. Restoring those accounts may drive away a large number of users. Musk must realize that not everyone lies on his street. The European Union has taken a tougher stance against public hate speech than the United States. EU officials have already warned Musk that their rules must govern Twitter in Europe. "We're open, but on our terms," Thierry Breton, the EU Internal Market Commissioner, warned this week. "At the very least, we know what to say to him. Elon, there are rules. You are welcome, but please follow our rules. It's not your rules that apply here." Musk has been a Twitter purveyor of harmful misinformation and disinformation, for example, promoting the useless anti-COVID nostrum hydroxychloroquine, as well as economically dubious cryptocurrencies. When he becomes the sole owner of Twitter, its flaws will become his flaws. If he continues to use it to promote false narratives, he will be held accountable for its debasement as a public square. Musk does not appear to have gotten the message despite the apparent success of his takeover bid. Begin with his derogatory tweets about Twitter and its employees. Musk responded on Tuesday to a tweet by conservative journalist Sagar Enjeti criticizing Twitter executive Vijay Gad. Gad, the lawyer in charge of content moderation at Twitter, was linked to the blocking of tweets about Hunter Biden's laptop computer and references to a New York Post article about the laptop. That blocking, according to Musk, was obviously incredibly inappropriate. According to reports, the exchange sparked a wave of Twitter attacks on Gad. Soon after, Musk responded favorably to right-wing conspiracy theorist Mike Cernovici's attack on Twitter lawyer Jim Baker, whom he accused of facilitating fraud. Musk responded, "Sounds pretty bad." Musk tweeted on Tuesday that Truth Social, the Twitter-like service launched by former President Trump to provide a social media platform for conservatives like himself, was outperforming Twitter in Apple Store downloads. Truth Social exists because Twitter censored free speech, Musk added. "Your mileage may vary, but that strikes me as disparaging." Musk has also not kept his Twitter logorrhea under control in other ways. He joked on Wednesday, "Next I'm going to buy Coca-Cola to put the cocaine back in." All in good fun, the last traces of cocaine were removed from the soft drink in 1929. But Musk may have to decide whether he wants to play with Twitter as if it were just another device for him to get his infantile jollies, or set down real-world rules that would make it a more useful tool for public discourse, as he claims. Which path will he take? Twitter is a very expensive toy, costing $44 billion. The service does not make a profit, but it will need to do so to cover Musk's debt, an estimated $1 billion in debt service per year. Musk's goal, according to Twitter co-founder and former CEO Jack Dorsey, is to make Twitter maximally trusted and broadly inclusive. It's unclear whether those objectives can be reconciled or whether Musk is willing to devote much of his free time or money to achieving nirvana. A $1 billion divorce may be his preferred option. However, we may not know for months.